All these little things when you get into display are important. Tweaking it. So you don't wait until the night before your show to clean up your pot and get your tree ready and decide what you want to do. You need to do this a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks prior to that. Start working it. Find what works together. And then when everybody starts bringing things into the show, we'll really have some exciting stuff going on here because you've prepared for it. It's not that, okay, I got to stand in the garage. I've got, I'm going to take the ginkgo, and what am I going to use for an accent plant? Dig that up real quick, you know, and throw it into a pot or something. And you're just moving things together, and you just enough time to put a polish on it, and then you bring it in. And it's not going to work. You'll put it together anyway because it's fine, but if you put more time into it, you're going to get so much more out of it. And everybody else that's looking at it is going to get a lot more out of it. It takes a lot of people to put together a good show. The same size, kind of. So it doesn't look interesting. This one's at the end, it leans in. It just kind of loses it. There's not enough there, not enough interest. So what we need here is something either shorter or taller. How do you feel about that? What do you think would be better, shorter or taller?
Shorter.
Because?
Strong color.
The color is tall enough.
The color is tall enough. The color alone is what takes most of your view. So by having something taller, this just, it'll never blend together. And it almost wants to look down on everything else. It's an old tree, so it just gives an interesting view. Okay. Let's see how many things can you pick out on that display? What's right, what's wrong with it?
Two wooden bases.
Two wooden slabs.
Slabs, yeah.
Right. And?
Dead wood and the wooden slab and the dead wood.
Well, that doesn't make that much
So much,
difference.
okay.
So what?
Is
Did
there
you
enough
say?
height differential?
Is there enough height differential? Not enough for this display. The direction. The direction of what? Of flow of the tree.
Yes.
The redwood.
So what's happening? It's going the wrong way.
Yeah.
Facing the wrong way.
Facing the wrong way.
We switch them like that?
We could switch them like that, but what
Then
about
the ginkgo would go that way.
The ginkgo is great.
Okay?
Better.
Better? What would make it even better?
Bigger stands.
Larger stand for the tree.
Oh, yeah, it's a little too small.
So let's take that tree off of there and put that stand, underneath the tree. Okay, still not great.
No, the color.
The color is too intense. It's very difficult when you have a stand. This stand is a tough stand to use because it's not just the color, it's this wide lip and then the smaller feet under here. But this lip, the top doesn't sit at the same level, it sits down inside of it. So when you look at it, it doesn't feel good. And that's an extremely strong stand over there. So you've got both of these colors just fighting each other. They want to, get into a boxing match. So let's find another stand that works with that one. Next, switching, putting that one on the slab and the ginkgo on the stand. Okay?
Wow.
We need one extra person, okay. I can switch these. So what is that going to do for us? Got a bright color with an interesting color. We'll turn this around a little bit, maybe so it's not quite so, we want to see more of the flat in the front.
More centered.
That looks pretty centered.
Oh, that stand's too big for that.
Okay, what's happened?
Makes the ginkgo's pot look wrong.
Makes the ginkgo pot look wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The heights,
Okay,
the
we
heights are
can
better though.
change the ginkgo.
Oh, that's good.
That's why it takes them so long to.
That's
see.
Isn't this easy?
Okay, Russell wanted to know, so,
Do you know how crazy you can go doing this?
okay.
But it makes a difference. What I
All right,
want
well,
you
so
to see
right now
is
we're
the
in the
more
exhibit room and
more
then we're gonna go
things
down
you
to the
have, the
side.
better chance you have of having something that works.
No.
And then when you
It's
add a
part of-
second
it's
item
part
to
of
it,
the workshop.
it really makes it tough. So doing it item by
I-
item is an easier way to do it. But when you're trying to create
Don't
something
crash the
else, there's a lot that starts to make it messy and make it very difficult. So we've got, this seems to be a little more comfortable down low. The color in it gives a little more of the fall flavor. The ginkgo is okay on that stand. It's not perfect for it by any means. So now, yeah, I don't either. So now our next, that's why we loved it on that slab. So now we need to find another element. I'm going to keep looking for a different pot. I mean, it needs a different pot, then we could use some of the stands we have. But a different item, we need a little accent of some sort in between there. Anybody want to find one? Originally came with that tree. It's not perfect. It's a very difficult stand, I would think, to use, but it may work a little better than the others. So now the problem is, how do we find, and I'm going to try one more little piece underneath instead of that stand, that slab, the light slab. We've got one more slab I want to put under it. Well, we need to find a little accent for the middle. So let's pick that up, take the slab out. Use a little different slab. The color in the pot now mimics that piece, and it quiets it down. You still, you almost see the color that much more because you don't have everything else fighting it. Okay? Go ahead and try that. You can just put it down without something now. Now, what side would you put that closer to? What is the piece, you could. What is the piece that you want to show off the most? You know, is this the most powerful one? Is that the most powerful one? This one doesn't seem to fit right because it has too many little tiny pieces and you're picking it up more from that. It needs to be a little quieter. There's so much of a riot going on here because you've got all this fine stuff. You've got all this bric-a-brac here. You've got a lot of little pebbly stuff here and mounded up. That has to be a lot quieter. So there's one in one direction, but we have another problem. We have a round slab with a flat slab. The color works, but it doesn't do anything for it. We can change that. Then we have black on black, so that doesn't work. And would this work a little better on this side if it were closer to that?
Yes,
Yeah, I like it.
looks better that way.
Better because?
They relate to each other more, the form and the roundness. of
The
it.
greenness in there and the green on the top, the form, it's small enough, it's a powerful, the pot is so powerful in that. This helps take away maybe a little bit of that pot value and takes it down some, it tones it down, so you see more of the green. We've got one more piece we want to try. Would you go with a scroll?
Yes.
And what would you put on the scroll? Huh?
A waterfall.
A waterfall?
No. Birds, maybe?
Birds? A bird that maybe wants to, is looking at it, that may want to land on it. This is
Could you do
autumn.
a V, you know,
A
the
what?
birds in a V, like heading south?
Birds in a V, just a few little dots on it as if they're flying away, that would be very good.
Mine
A
would-
what?
A moon?
A moon. Why a moon? Fall, harvest moon, the color. Doesn't that look like something that you would see at night? You would pick up all these yellows from the reflection from the moon, and that would be another very exciting element in this. Would you do it vertical or horizontal? Horizontal? And where would you put the moon? What side? If you were doing a moon. Or the birds. Would you tie it in closer to the ginkgo or closer to the tree on the right side?
It was in color to the left by the ginkgo.
To the left by the ginkgo if it was in color. Okay, why? Working colors together, but if you put a scroll, if it's vertical, it's up here, you're adding a little height to this. If you're putting it up here, you're squaring off the piece. So this, for a vertical piece, would be more pleasing. Even a horizontal piece, this would take it, unless it was a very tall, narrow scroll, that might add to it, but it would have to be higher than this. It has to be up here and bring it on down. Then you have something else, and then you could have the birds way up high, or even the moon on this side. It could be a cloudy scene, but if it's cloudy, you wouldn't see the yellow, so that wouldn't work. So a little bit of a moon, not real orange, just the hints of orange in it, just a light little brush of orange in there, barely noticeable, but that you could tell it was orange. So it looked like a moon. That up high would be wonderful. Because you have up on the top these little orange colors and an orange on this side. So an orange moon would really play off of this. Just gives you goosebumps.